Welcome to the Winning in Business podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Rissy, and I love talking to business professionals, leaders, and entrepreneurs who are winning in business. Are you ready to reach your next level of success? If so, join us on the Winning in Business podcast as I interview entrepreneurs, business professionals, and leaders who share how they've risen to success. Before we begin, go ahead, hit subscribe and the notification button so you'll be notified each time a new episode is released. Plug in and settle in. You're about to be inspired to rise up to your next level of success. Welcome back to another episode of Winning in Business. This is your host, Kelly Rissy, and today I am so excited to be with my friend, Sally Drake. Let me share a little bit about Sally. Sally Drake, MBA, is the owner and race director of MSE Racing and puts on quality endurance events, including triathlons and running races in the greater St. Louis area and Illinois. She also enjoys coaching triathletes of all levels from newbie, that would be me, to elite, with a passion for helping them achieve or exceed their goals. She specializes in ultra endurance, much through her experience in completing 13 full Ironman triathlons. Woo! We'll get to more about that in a minute. As an enthusiastic entrepreneur, Sally is very active networking in her local community and is a member of a high-level mastermind and accountability group. Sally's latest projects include a women's adventure retreat series, which the first one is now open for registration, and a 501c3 to provide resources and bicycles for those who cannot participate in endurance sports due to the cost involved. So Sally, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Kelly. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was reading that. You know me, I can dance for 24 hours, but I don't know about this whole running, biking, swimming, all the things. So tell me, how did you even get into doing this? Like, what is your background? Like, where did you start and what led you into this?
Sure. On the sports side of it or the endurance side of it, I was a runner. Later in life, I started doing it a little bit as a teenager. I wasn't really involved in a lot of sports, but I started running in college a little bit. And then that grew into more working out and really embracing running, doing marathons. And then a friend challenged me to do a triathlon. So I did and fell in love with it. And I think it was even more than just the sport of it, but just the goal setting and everything that's involved in reaching the goal of crossing that finish line, or actually even just making it to the starting line of any triathlon is an accomplishment. And then that just grew. I continued to do the triathlons and then started getting more and more involved in providing resources for the community and group training. And then I started coaching. And all the while I was working as a senior financial analyst at the time. And then I had a friend suggest that we open a triathlon shop, and I slept on it and said yes, and eventually left my corporate job and opened a triathlon shop, which was quite an adventure and quite a journey. And that was from 2011 to 2016. That triathlon shop is still alive and well today. I'm not an owner. I parted ways and started my own endurance coaching business. I had already been coaching, but I kind of shifted gears and made it a bigger company, bigger idea, and grew that business. And then in 2019, a wonderful gift of MSE Racing was dropped into my lap, literally, and just suddenly, and I slept on that one and said yes. And at that time, MSE Racing just had 2 triathlons, but it grew from there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And now you're coaching. You're directing events?
Yes.
And now you're adding women's retreats. Anything else in there I missed?
Yes. No.
Okay.
I'll talk a little bit about the races that we've added since we took on MSE Racing. And I say when I took it on, I pictured myself putting on these races, right? Like, how in the world am I going to do this? Well, I started gathering a crew of contracted employees. Now I have probably about 15. I haven't counted recently, but we have an incredible crew, and one employee, part-time employee, my project manager, and together we put on these races. Together we create these races. I absolutely could not do it without them. That's been incredible, incredibly valuable in the journey to have all of these people behind me.
And are all your races triathlons, or are some 5Ks, or are, like, what does that look like?
Great question. So we have 8 triathlons. A couple of those are kids triathlons, which are really cute. And then we have 4 running races. And then we have a gravel bike race. And then on top of that, we're adding another endurance event that I will be announcing later this afternoon. That's a little bit different from everything we do.
Is it a dancing one? I'm just curious.
No, I don't know.
No? Oh, okay. I was just checking. Like, if you ever decide that.
We might be dancing at the women's retreat. Maybe you could lead the dance class.
So for you, going from, like this senior analyst into a brick and mortar, it sounds like,
yes.
Yes. And then now, into the MSE Racing and coaching and doing all these different, really wearing many different hats under one umbrella of a company. What are some of the ahas that you want to share that have contributed to your success? I mean, you are winning in business. Yeah. So what skills, mindset, qualities do you feel like have really helped you with that?
Great question. I would say number one, arming myself with the resources such as my business groups, my business coach, Erin Joy, my accountability group, Fuel the Fire. And on top of that, with having those resources, and I learn from the people in those groups constantly, and the direction from my business coach. On top of that, probably the biggest piece is providing a quality, top-notch, safe, fun event for athletes with the athletes in mind, and keeping my crew happy and satisfied and allowing them to have ownership in what they're doing, and making sure that they really enjoy the piece that they're doing. And we're all focused on the athlete. We're all focused on that athlete having as close to a perfect experience as we possibly can. If we do that, we are successful. They will come back to our races. They will tell their friends. So that's the key, is we don't have to worry about anything else but that quality and number one, safety, but providing the best possible event we can. We listen to our customers. Our athletes are provided a survey after every single race, and we ask them all the questions, and we listen. We change things, we add things, we listen to what they're doing. We get amazing, incredible, and valuable ideas from our athletes. And that's where it needs to come from. They're the ones out there doing it.
Yeah. I mean, so far, like the things that I heard, like, you're a coach yourself, right? And you've been goal setting, you do all this, and you have a business coach and are in a mastermind. There are so many business owners out there today that don't do that, right? And then they wonder why they're spinning when, as people working by ourselves, right, or being at the top, we can hold other people accountable, but we need somebody holding us accountable, right? And so, I love that. I love that you give yourself that gift and know that as a business owner, that's important to you.
Yes, it allows me to find support. Like you said, we're alone. Many days I'm in this office by myself. Well, Archie, my dog, is right here all the time at my feet. But we're alone, and you have to find that motivation and that drive some days that's not there. And getting together with those groups and sharing our experiences and our wins and our struggles, and really can lift you up and give you the energy that you need to keep working. You keep those people in your mind, and you take ideas or share ideas, take ideas. It is extremely helpful in my business.
Very powerful, very powerful. And the other thing that I heard you say is really getting feedback, right? As business owners, we can often be scared of the feedback. You know what I mean? Because we're like, oh, what are they going to say? And yet it's just feedback. It's feedback to help us grow, and it sounds like you really use that feedback to help. What are some of the, like, can you give examples of some feedback that you maybe didn't want to hear, but yet you turned that around and used it and made things even better?
Yes, 100%. The most recent I can think of, which is an exciting addition to our collection of equipment, is a blowy guy. The blowy guy that collapse and expand and collapse and expand. Well, at our last triathlon, the swim finish did not have anything big for the athletes to sight on. So when they're coming back in from their swim loop, it's nice if they have something big and bright that they can see ahead of them to know that they're swimming in the right direction. We have sighting buoys and things like that. And I saw it right away when I went down to the swim start. I thought, oh my goodness, there's nothing for them to sight. Like, they can still follow the buoys. It wasn't a huge concern, but it bothered me. Well, sure enough, an athlete commented on that. So I went home, and then probably within the next 2 days, I got the blowy guy. I always really wanted one anyway, but so we're gonna have a big green guy at the swim finish, and thanks to that athlete confirming that yes, my observation of that was correct. So we did that, and then a couple of other things, just feedback that we've gotten on on the course, or different ideas on foods that we could have at the finish line, or anything that they're missing or seeing. We had it last year at the 370 Lakeside Triathlon. The athletes had to wait quite a while to get in the water. We were still kind of using a COVID type start, where we were just having a few athletes enter the water several seconds apart at a time, just to keep people more spread out before the race and as they're doing the race. Well, somebody mentioned that they were waiting 45 minutes in the sun in their wetsuit, and it did not even dawn on me. I did not know. I was walking around talking to the athletes when they were waiting, but I didn't even think about, wow, they're on their feet before they're about to do a race in the heat. That's not acceptable. So we changed that right away to wave start. So wave start is where more athletes, and it might be by age group, it might be by pace, it depends, maybe 30 athletes at a time get in the water together, and boom, they take off. And we did that. We had all the athletes in the water within several minutes. Amazing. And a little bit more exciting and fun, and a lot more energy with that type of start. So that was another shift that we made, like, right away, but we didn't even think of that. Right. That athlete told us. And so right away. And then course markings, there was a woman who was asking something about a course marking. I can't even remember at the moment what it was, but she came up to me at the last race and she said, Sally, I sent you a note about doing this, blah, blah, blah. And she said, and you did it. I said, yes, we're always listening. I wish I could think of what it was. Maybe I'll think of it during this, but it was something very specific, but I loved the idea. So I took it. I never take it as a negative I take it as, like, I want to make it the best experience possible. I didn't see that was lacking, or that would be something, a great addition to a more successful race. So we appreciate any and all feedback from them.
I love that, because I think our clients, customers, whatever people call them in their business, they have a different perspective than we do. You know what I mean? They're coming at it from a different angle, and we see what we see, but hearing really back from them and being able to, I love that you can figure out what can quickly be implemented and do it immediately. That's awesome. For you, knowing that, like, the mindset of being an athlete, what was your specific word? An ultra endurance athlete. Okay. The mindset of that, how do you use that mindset in your business?
Great question. Dedication is one thing that comes to mind. When I was living the lifestyle of an Ironman athlete for 13 years, I would get up super early in the morning. I still get up many mornings at 3:30 in the morning and work on my business, work on myself, meditate, whatever it may be, to have this great solid foundation for my day and check some big things off of my list for my day. I've done that for so long. Since I was working on my MBA, I would find that time in the morning. It's so extremely valuable, and it's where I can think my best and also come up with the best ideas and focus. So that was a huge takeaway, is organizing my day from early in the morning, because I know the rest of my day can get crazy, and I have to fit in the training, and I have to fit in the client calls, and I have to fit in the work, et cetera, et cetera. So it really helped. Discipline is the biggest word that comes to mind with that. Has been helpful all of my life since I started doing triathlon.
Yes, I love that. I also have a morning routine, that it has to be rock solid. And I notice on days that if for some reason it's not, then the rest of my day is not rock solid,
Yes.
Yeah.
You're human, also allowing that balance of saying, okay, some days I'm not going to set the alarm. Although those days I get up at 4, wow, I slept.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Having those days where I don't set the alarm, and maybe I just get up and go sit on the porch with my dogs and my coffee and relax.
Yes.
Every once in a while, you need that.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. Knowing the ebb and the flow of that, right? Like of really knowing yourself, because if not, you end up with burnout, right? And we cannot be burnt out as business owners. Like you get burnt out and you're down and out, right? Your health suffers, your business suffers, and then we have a problem. So I always ask this question: what challenges do you face as a business owner?
Oh, let's see. So many. And I think that's why I love it. I love the challenge. I love new challenges, and I enjoy figuring out the solutions to problems and challenges. But I would say with this business, one huge challenge that we have with our races is volunteers. It's very difficult to get enough volunteers to put on these races. I'm finding myself hiring more people because we just can't get the volunteers. And we like to have people at every possible turn, absolutely every intersection. We like to make it as safe as possible. And if with just a sign there, it's not quite as safe as a person also looking out for the athletes. So recruiting volunteers, and we have awesome volunteer coordinators. We put forth the effort, but it's just very difficult. And I think it's post-COVID. I don't know what it is, but people are not volunteering as much. And I've heard that from other race directors as well. So that's one challenge. Another challenge is finding businesses that would like to take the opportunity to sponsor our races. We have some amazing sponsors for our races. For example, the St. Louis Triathlon, Luffy Subaru has been a sponsor for more than a few years, and they provide a lot for us, a lot of resources for us. They come out and get in front of our athletes. They have a Luffy, one of their employees is right at the finish line putting the medals on the athletes. They park cars, the Subarus, at the finish line. They park cars at the expo, so they're on the t-shirts. And then we have other vendors such as Optimal Performance Center. They come out and work on athletes' chiropractic company. And with Brian Laderman, he comes up and sets up a tent and tables, and they work on the athletes doing some soft tissue work or whatever they may need. And that's wonderful. And then we have a lot of other great vendors that will come out and set up either at the expo or at the finish line. And it's just a super opportunity for them to talk to these athletes face to face. These athletes are overachieving people, goal setters, great customers for potential sponsors. So yeah.
Yeah. So that sounds like, if anyone listening, is what has an athlete as their ideal client? I don't know, whatever, but y'all need to consider doing some type of sponsorship if that fits into your marketing plan, right? Because that is one way to hit a lot of people. And like what you said, kind of that individual, being able to talk to them and whatnot, because they do go around to the vendors. The athletes do. Yeah.
And we have all different sponsorship levels, some that are more appropriate for a very small business, all the way up to the car dealerships, that type of thing.
And I can see how those two things, volunteers and just, getting the sponsors, I can see how that is definitely can be a challenge for you, right? Because it's the constant of it. And I agree too that there has been that shift since the pandemic. And, I think it'll be interesting. Like, I feel like we will keep coming out of it, and there'll be a new normal, but I do think people will go back to volunteering and doing things like that. I truly have hope for that.
Thank you. I do too. We definitely do.
Yeah. For you, what are your goals moving forward in your business?
Another great question. I have so many goals, but I would say my biggest goals are to continue to add value to our races and to continue to add value to my coaching services, and also to increase participation in our races. That too has been difficult to predict since COVID. Athletes are just behaving differently. They're training differently. They're signing up for races differently. It's difficult as a business owner to be able to project what is going to happen or forecast what is going to happen. Our goal, of course, is to grow. And by doing what we're doing and then a little bit extra marketing effort, we'll be able to do that. We really have no doubt.
And then I know for you, like this women's retreat, right? Like that's a big goal right now, because that's something new that you've added to your business.
Yes. And I'm thrilled about this. So the women's retreat, we have a super lineup of facilitators that are going to come and teach classes, do talks, do one-on-ones with the ladies. The women will be able to curate their own weekend. So we'll have different adventure opportunities like a ropes course or hiking or kayak race or bicycling. So all different adventure opportunities if they want those, or a winery excursion if they want that. So a really fun just combination of events, live music at the campfire on Saturday night. It's definitely a great getaway for any woman looking for just a little bit of fun and some inspiration. And so the goal is to make this camp duplicatable so that we can also put it on in another area at another time of the year that doesn't interfere with the other MSE events, and that also makes sense for this type of retreat.
And for you, are you targeting this again to athletic women primarily, or women that need to get away and are looking for some adventure as they go, but they don't have to be like an Uber athlete?
Yes. So great question. Again, I'm looking for women from all different communities. So I envision our small business owner groups coming. We'll have Erin there, my business coach. She'll be doing, she'll be talking, and it won't be directed just at women business owners, but also just women in leadership, women with careers, women that she can definitely inspire. And then we'll have yoga, we'll have massage, so it's really for any woman, the way I look at it. I hope we do have some active athletic women as well that would love to take advantage of all the adventures. And so it should be a fantastic mix. And then the yogis will have plenty of yoga opportunities as well.
Yeah, that sounds fabulous. And for you, what are your goals in life?
In life,
I mean, you've done, 13 full Ironman triathlons. Like what else what are other goals in life for you?
Well, I'm not doing any more full Ironman races. I'll do another half Ironman races. That's one of my favorite distances. And then half marathons I love as well. And beyond that, for my birthday this year, I'm going to Colorado and I'm going to climb a few 14ers. I've never done that. I did some all women backpacking trips recently where you take everything in your backpack and camp overnight. You have your tent and everything and your food and all of that. And that was just an incredible experience. So I hope to do more of that and travel and continue to expand MSE Racing. We're really focused on sticking with the races we have and making them just top notch, fantastic. And then growing from there, we would like to expand as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. What accomplishments are you really proud of that we haven't talked about yet that you would like to share?
Well, I would say the biggest life-changing accomplishments for me were stepping out of corporate America, which we did talk about that already, I realized. And then creating this business and growing MSE Racing. It has just been the most incredible opportunity for me, and also growing experience for me personally and professionally. I like the challenge. I like to be able to see what I can do. I like to be able to grow myself physically and mentally. And this journey has allowed me to do just that.
I want to touch on one thing, since you haven't really brought it up again, and I think it's really important. This 501c3.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Okay. So it was kind of an aha moment. I was at a conference, a triathlon conference for race directors and coaches early in the year. And we had, we went to this class that was on statistics. It was basically just like an informational session. And it was all these statistics about triathlon and the sport and the athletes. And I loved it. It was very eye-opening. But what it made me realize is this is not a very affordable sport. It's very expensive to be in the sport. It's expensive to do races. It's expensive to buy the equipment. It's expensive if you want to coach. All the resources are expensive. And so it made me think, wow, there are a lot of people that can't even come to the races. How can I help them? Well, I have a lot of resources. I am the race director. I own the races. I am a coach. I own my coaching business. I have wonderful connections with bike shop owners, running store owners. There's something I can do here. So my goal is, and realistically, I'll build this idea up and start to work more on it in the off season. Our off season begins really in October after the women's retreat, when I can really focus on working on this. I've already talked to some people on how to start the 501c3, but I'm really excited to tap into this group of people that haven't been able to do it. And it's difficult to find those people. What do you say? You know what I mean? How do you find those people? So this 501c3 will help me find them and get them out there. So I'm really excited that I can help and share with them.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, that's very exciting. I guess I didn't realize from the standpoint, only because I mean, it hasn't been a goal of mine to do one, right? But really the expense that goes into it. But I know the expense that it goes into other hobbies that I have of mine, right? So, so really helping so that everyone can participate if they want to in one of these. I think that's awesome. What a great. Yeah.
And I'd like to add a little bit to that. The triathlon, we talk about it a lot as a sport, and it's a great workout and it's exercise, and people are kind of shy away from that because it's intimidating. But one of the things that I love about triathlon is it does attract all different types of people with all different types of goals. Everyone out there has a different why. And it's fascinating when you talk to people and learn their why. Sometimes it's weight loss. Sometimes it's they're overcoming addiction. I've heard everything and I just got goosebumps. I've heard everything. And it can seriously turn a person's life around. It's so rewarding when I hear the stories, and that's why I get really excited to put on these races and be around all of these people.
When you said that you really coach all the way from newbie to elite, when you put on triathlons, are they all the same distance?
Oh, good question. No, they're not. So for instance, I'll just give you one example of our race. Our race coming up is Lake Springfield. It's in Lake Springfield, Illinois, which is a super fun venue. I highly recommend coming out. And we offer everything from a sprint distance triathlon to an half iron distance triathlon, and everything in between. So now we've added a 5K run to our triathlons. So if you have a spouse or a friend that wants to come out and watch you, but they're a runner primarily, they could do the 5K run. It's right in the belly of the monster, right in the middle of this triathlon. They're doing a 5K run while you're doing your triathlon. And walk, if you have walkers, even mom or dad want to come out and they're walkers, that's fine too. They can walk. We have an aqua bike option, which is just the swim and the bike. So injured runners like to take advantage of that, or people who just don't like to run. And then we also offer a duathlon, which is a run, bike, run. So if the person's not ready for the open water swim, or they just don't like to swim, then they have an option as well. So it is welcoming to all different types of athletes of all different levels. And I was thinking about that as,
just like our business journeys, right? Like as a business owner, we start out as newbies, and here's like, we kind of got to get acclimated to things. And then when we're ready, we go to the next level. I feel like if I did a triathlon, I would need like a short, like I need to run for this many miles, bike for this many, instead of like run for way long and whatever, like I need the mini of each type thing. I probably need the kids version, Sally. That's where I need to start, is the kids version.
There you go.
And I know it takes training, right? Just like it takes the mental fortitude to do it.
Yeah.
Just like it takes us business owners to keep going.
Right. It's not easy. And these people, to get their training in, usually takes a lot of early mornings and weekend mornings. And so it's not easy to fit it in when people have small children or families and a lot going on, full-time jobs, a lot going on. So it's quite a challenge.
I think it goes back to that, like you said, it's that dedication and it's that knowing your why. Right. Yes. Just like a business owner, when you know your why, you're willing, you're committed, you do it, you do all the things you have to do. You overcome. I love how you always say in business, I love challenges. Like, I'm up for the challenge. What a great mindset to have, right? Because as business owners, we are thrown challenges all the time. And, one of the reasons clearly why you're winning in business is you have that mindset. You're like, oh, a challenge. This will be fun.
Exactly. That sounds like me. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. So that's great. Well, I want to thank you. So how can my listeners find you, follow you, whatever, share some of your links and whatnot. I'll also post them in the show notes.
Okay, great. So all of our races and the women's the women's retreats are on MSERacing.com. That stands for Multi-Sport Experience Racing. So MSERacing.com. My endurance coaching is under MSEcoaching.com. And they can find all of the information about coaching. And I also, if they do an inquiry, they can fill out the contact us form on there and then set up a coaching consultation with me. We can just do a quick little call to see if it's a fit and see if they want to do it. I'm happy
awesome.
Anytime. Yeah.
And if you just want to follow Sally, because she's a pretty cool, amazing woman, you can catch her on LinkedIn, correct? Yes. We can follow you on LinkedIn. Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. So I will put all of those, but I appreciate your time. I appreciate the nuggets that you've shared. Just you as someone who is winning in business for us, and just giving us a little bit of, inside into the racing world. I mean, I think that was really cool. So thank you for answering some of my questions that I had.
Sure. No, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you very much, Kelly.
Yeah, no problem. All right. For my listeners, please be sure and share, like, and comment, and let anyone that you know that would love to listen to this podcast, please share it with them. And I will be back next week with another episode of Winning in Business. And until then, rise up and live.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Yep. See you next week.
Thank you for being a part of the Winning in Business podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode and want to rise up to your next level of success, but are worried about increased stress, time for work and yourself and your family, not to mention being exhausted, I'd like to invite you to a complimentary strategy call where I'll show you how you can do it all. I'll help you reclaim time, keep your sanity, handle the chaos with ease, and move to the next level of success that you deserve and desire. I hope you found value in listening today. Please always leave your comments, feedback, or questions. We check them all. I want you to continue winning in business and reach your next level of success. See you next time.